What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, for those that don't know, this is the MK2 Audi TT I bought abandoned from a scrapyard. If you don't know about this car and how it's becoming to my possession, then make sure you go and check out the previous video, which will be linked at the end of this one. And also while you're there, why don't you hit that subscribe button as well? And in that previous video, we kind of talk about this car and how it became in my possession, and we have a quick overview of the car and we get the car running. But today's video, we're going to be talking about everything that is wrong with this MK2 Audi TT. And the first problem I'm going to talk about, we have to start with the key. Now, as you can see, we have got a couple of functions on the key. We've got lock, open the boot, and we've got unlock. But when I press the buttons, the boot won't open. It's just kind of unresponsive to the key in general, but I don't think it's a big issue, and let me show you why. The reason I don't say it's a big issue, because if you look in this corner here of the key, when I press the buttons, there's no light illuminating. And further to that, if I flip the key out and put it in the ignition, in the door barrel, sorry, the car unlocks. And it locks, which suggests to me that the battery in this key is probably dead. So that should... That's the problem I'm having though. The alarm likes to go off. And to turn the alarm off, what I have to do is stick the key in the ignition, and that syncs with the alarm and the immobiliser. But as I was saying, that shouldn't be a bad fix, because I believe it's just the battery in the key that's dead, because the central locking in the car is fully functional on both doors. But the problem that I'm having is the alarm's going off. When I unlock it and get in the car, the alarm will go off, and if I lock it and if I unlock it and then lock it without putting the key in the ignition, the alarm goes off, as you just saw. So that's problem number one. Problem number two then, although the wheels look great, all four tyres need replacing. I need to replace all four tyres on this car. Again, not a big issue, but it's going to be an expensive fix. The next problem we've got then is, well, if you watch my previous video, you'll know that I do actually quite like the interior of this car, and the seats are quite comfy. Not sure if the red leather's for me, like I said in the previous video, but there's a very distinctive herbal smell, which we definitely need to take care of. And while we're in the interior, we might as well talk about a few more problems. Another problem is with the steering wheel. Although this is more of a cosmetic kind of problem, you can see these buttons are just very badly worn, and they look a bit, well, they look a bit nasty. The paddles do click both sides, so I believe they still work. Obviously we'll check that when we get on the road. So that is another problem. I want to get some better conditioned buttons, or maybe some reconditioned ones. I might even do like a wheel finesse upgrade on the steering wheel to bring it up to speed. But this is kind of the first era of Audis where this flat bottom steering wheel was introduced, and it does look quite good, to be honest. The next problem then is here. This is where the bonnet latch should be. Common fault on these Audi TTs is that the bonnet latch snapped, and you guessed it, the one on this car has snapped. And what I've done is I've had to use a set of pliers on the cable and pull it to pop the bonnet up. Did that day one to get in the car, and I've just left the bonnet slightly popped up, so I don't keep after putting unnecessary strain on that cable. That's something else that we do need to fix. We need to get a bonnet latch for the car. Big thing that lets this interior down then, well, look at this. This is the Audi sat-nav unit. Now, I don't believe this is a factory screensaver. If you look at this, it's an absolute mess. It does try and come in and out. It does work still, it picks up radio. However, as you can see, it's clearly been vandalised. My favourite of this car is, if you go and watch the previous video, it was taken at the roadside by the police, and I believe the previous owner, who probably wasn't very happy his Audi TT was being took off him, has decided to vandalise the head unit. So that's something else we need to fix. Next thing on the list then is base here. Now, it's not there's nothing wrong in this section of the car, but it is to do with the gearbox. What I'm going to be doing is giving this DSG gearbox a full service. With me buying this car from a scrapyard, I haven't got much or any service history with the car, and these DSG gearboxes do have an oil and filter interval just like an engine does. So I don't know when it was last done, and I'm not going to do any harm by giving it a fresh set of oil and a fresh filter as well. So that is also on the to-do list. Next fault that needs rectifying is clearly here. The wing mirror has snapped. Now I thought, just like the stereo, I thought the previous owner might have been a bit upset at the roadside that the police were taking this car, and they decided to snap the wing mirror off at the roadside. However, accusing the last owner of a lot of things, but doing some research, actually the metal wears away and they kind of just snap off over time and with age, or that's what I believe. If I'm wrong and you think the last owner's done this as well at the roadside, then please comment down below and let me know. Luckily enough, I have managed to find a wing mirror in colour and it's the same part number, so boom, that job is already kind of underway. The parts in the car, sorry, the parts in the garage, and we'll be getting that sorted. So as I said then, the bonnet latch on this car is broken, so that is a job that we need to do. But the next thing we need to do, or one of the things that we need to do that's on the list, is give this car a full service. Like I said, I've got no service history with this car because I bought it from a scrapyard. I'm going to be giving the car full service, filters, oil, the lot. It will be happening with this engine. So as you can see then, there is quite an extensive list of jobs to do, which we're making a start on. We are going to make a start today on 2 jobs, and we're going to start tomorrow as well doing another job. But this last one, I need your help to fix this last one. Let me show you. Now the Audi TT, quite infamously, the Mark 1 came with no spoiler at all, and Audi recalled him and put a spoiler on the Mark 1. Now if you've got a Mark 1 TT without a spoiler, it's pre-recall. Apparently they're quite unstable at motorway speeds and at high speeds, so be careful in it, but that's a bit of a unicorn of a car. On the Mark 2 however, they kept that profile of the sloped and curved rear end of the TT, and they installed this active aero spoiler. Now as you can see, my spoiler on this TT is deployed up, but the car's not running. Let me show you what's going on. So we come to the inside of the car with the car running. You are now on the GoPro. That's another fault that's just popped up. You are now on the GoPro. That's another one. That's 2 more. You are now on the GoPro, and I've got the camera at the back of the car. So the car's fired up. It's fine. Now if you look at this, if we look here in the centre console, we've got the button for the mag ride. We've got ESP off and on. We've got the hazard lights, the indicators, and then we've got our spoiler manual override. Now as you can see, the little LEDs lit up to say that the button's been depressed and the spoiler is now deployed. If I look at the sports suspension, the mag ride, the spoiler's not there, but if I press it, it lights up to tell me I've switched it on. Now what I think's going on with this car is that I think someone's plugged like a carlet or an OBD11 reader into the car, and they've done some custom coding and they put the spoiler in constantly deployed mode. And the reason I think that, and I think that the mechanism for the spoiler is fine, is because when I press the button, it goes down, albeit it doesn't sit flush when it's fully down. And then the strangest thing happens. If I turn the ignition off, you might hear the spoiler. It redeploys. So the functionality of the spoiler is still there. It goes down, although it doesn't sit flush, and it comes back up when I turn the ignition on, but that LED light inside the car constantly stays on. And I feel like that the car's been coded for that to happen. Now I've ran the codes on this car with a code reader and it doesn't display any faults whatsoever. So I think this has been coded in. So anybody with OBD11 out there and you want to help me out, let me know. OBD11, if you're watching this, want to help me out, let me know. Let's go on to the next fault. The next fault, then we have to come back to the inside of the car. I'll just switch the ignition on, fire the car up. As you can see, the display is actually alright, but as it kind of warms itself up, you'll see in a second, we get passenger airbag on, which is obviously normal, that's what we want. But we're getting this right parking light, and we're getting the little problem, the little light bulb with the crossfit say the light's not working. Now a common flaw with these, a common fault with these TTs from the research I've done, I'm not an Audi guy, is that the earth on the rear lights fails. So that's something we need to take a look at. We need to take a look at that, and we need to see if we need to rewire the earth on the light. There's actually quite a lot of videos out there which is nice to know, teaching us and showing us how we need to rewire this earth on these rear lights. So that is another fault on this car. And one of the last faults on the interior of the car, like I said, it stinks. It's got these awful little tree Villaroma in. It's got cans of petrol in the back. And the rear of this car is just a mess. We've got petrol cans, which we actually used in the last video to put fuel in. The batteries here, all the under trays out. It's just a mess. So clearly a job to do is get the inside of this car absolutely spotless, ready for its new owner. But the last fault's a big one. And the last fault lies here, under this bonnet, and it's not what you're thinking it is. It's actually nothing to do with Audi, the coil packs, the PCV valve. This car's got rats, that's right. Rats have been living under the bonnet of this car. You can see here, there's bits across, and then if you look down here, there's just absolute rat droppings and feces and all kinds of stuff everywhere, all over the engine bay. And well, it smells absolutely disgusting. Now obviously for health reasons, I don't want to be working on this engine when it's covered in rat feces and whatever else. So the job that we're going to do right now is get this engine bay cleaned up. I've got some engine bay degreaser and cleaner, and we're going to give this engine bay a nice good clean and a scrub. And while we're here, I'm also going to give the exterior of the car a quick once over, just so we can kind of see what the bodywork's like on this car. The under tray off the car off camera, my suspicions are correct. If you look at all this, it's all rat droppings and feces. The reason that I took the under tray off is so that when I'm washing this engine bay down, all the dirt and the grime and the feces doesn't just collect in the under tray. Plus I need it off to do tomorrow's job, which is when we're going to service the car anyway. So this was a job well done. I put this to one side, this will get cleaned off as well. So I'm probably going to put the car on bricks, like under the tyres, to give it a bit of purchase in the air, and we'll go from there. It's just actually starting to spit, but we're only giving it a quick once over anyway. So a bit of faffing, and let me show you why. So as you can see here, there is a cap missing on the back of this headlight. The reason I noticed that is because obviously I want to make checking where all the electrical connectors are, because I'm going to be cleaning the engine bay and I don't want to make it a mess. I have got the one on this side here, so I took the part number off it and I found one on eBay, so that's another thing wrong that I've had to order. What I'm going to be using then to detail the engine bay or clean this engine bay is this. It's Auto Glim Engine and Machine Cleaner. This isn't actually my first choice, my first weapon of choice for tackling engine bay. My first choice for tackling engine bays is the Auto Finesse Eradicate. I reviewed it many years ago on the channel. At the time it's called Enigma. I just couldn't get it today. Alphas have stopped stocking it. Euro Car Parts can't get it till Tuesday, and I want to get this job done today and get it like so we can make a start on Project TT. So I've gone with this. It's a little bit cheaper. I don't know if it's any good. It says rapidly cleans engines, components and tools and machinery. Let's get rid of these bird droppings. Like I said, honestly, although the Auto Glim Engine Cleaner isn't my first choice, I like the Auto Finesse Eradicate. It's done a brilliant job, look at that. I've also done the under tray as well, so I've sprayed that on and cleaned that off, and all the rat droppings have gone, and all the engine oil and greases that are probably years of build up have all gone. So if you look here, like even this looks a million times better. It all looks cleaner. Yeah, it generally looks a million times better. I am going to give it another pass. Try to avoid all the electrical bits and pieces, although it is going to get here or there, but it does look a million times better. While we're here, we've got the hose pipe out, we've got everything going. We might as well give this car the once over just to kind of give it some love. So let's get to the exterior of this car. So next we're going to move on to the wheels. I've given the car a rinse. The engine's running just to dry the engine bay a little bit, and I'm going to use Auto Finesse's Reactivate wheel cleaner. Let's go. Never used this one before, so I'm interested to see the result. Not after perfection on this clean, but I think you'll agree that looks a million times better. Let's get the other three done. can see, we're well underway. We have just snow foamed the car. We're getting there. I'm not after perfection on this wash. I'm just trying to get the kind of the dirt and the grime off it, so I know what I'm working with underneath this dirt, grime and rat feces. But I've got the engine running to try and dry the engine bay out a little bit, just because tomorrow I'm going to be working on the engine and we're going to be giving this car a full service. I'll grab a quick drink now and we're going to let the snow foam sit and dwell, and then we'll blast the snow foam off and give it a contact. Fully washed and cleaned, and it does look alright. It's come up alright. It's not perfect because I've not gone to town. This was just a kind of a quick once over, if you will. Car looks a million times better than it did, but I'll give you a quick look of how the car's turned out. The engine bay was our main target for today, and I think you'll agree it looks a million times better than it did when we started. The wheels also have come up really well. Like I said, I've not gone to town. The car is still wet, but I think you'll agree that it is beginning to look like quite a decent TT, which is what I saw under the dirt, the grime and the rat feces. Right, so I'm going to end this one here. You join me in front of the TT. So productive really this. We'll clean that engine bay up, the under trade's off ready for its service tomorrow. It smells a lot better just under the engine bay. So we're well underway with Project TT now, making a start. So tomorrow we'll be giving the engine a full service. The gearbox service kit hasn't arrived yet, so I probably won't film that tomorrow. Well, I can't film that tomorrow because it's not here. So let me know what you think of this video. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying Project TT. Thank you very much for the reception on the reveal video. It's been phenomenal. Thank you for everyone that hit subscribe, although I have noticed now over 90% of you people watching my videos have not pressed that button. Please, please, please hit that button. I'm really enjoying YouTube at the moment and making videos. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.